Leanna, Sibylla, Jacqueline, welcome. Let us know where you're joining in from in the chat. Would be great. So we're just going to wait a couple more minutes. We've had quite a few people register. I think we have 51 registrations today. So we're just going to wait a couple minutes here. Calgary, amazing. Jacqueline, I'm originally from Vancouver. So I see the Rocky Mountains behind you. Amazing. Natalie, welcome, welcome. We're just getting settled in. If you could put yourself on mute and let us know in the chat where you're calling in from. Leanna's in Spain. Nice. I was just in Spain a couple of weeks ago and it rained like crazy. Olga, welcome. Yvonne, is that you? Hello, my dear.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see you.
See you. So everyone that's just joining here, type in the chat. Where are you calling in from? Oh, another Canadian. Gatineau, Quebec. Nice. Petya from Bulgaria. Amazing.
Such an international crowd we are having. Really cool.
Absolutely. Emmanuel from Hamburg. Nice.
All time zones.
All time zones. That's right. So Victoria and Victoria, I don't know. I won't speak for you. I don't know if you're traveling, but I am calling in from the Netherlands. So I'm in Holland. Victoria, whereabouts are you in the world today?
Amsterdam as well.
Amsterdam. Nice. Fantastic. All right. I hope you're all excited. We've got a lot of incredible insights to share with you today. So you're going to want to pay attention for sure, so that you capture all the nuggets that are dropped today. Celine, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Put your location in the chat. We'd love to know where you're calling in from. So if you have a notebook, if you're like old school like me with the paper and the pen, yes, I'm old school, or the iPad or the whatever you use to capture your golden nuggets, have that ready. Hi, Sibylla. Nice to see you. Another Amsterdamer. Amazing. All right, let's just wait another minute or so. Deborah. Hello, let us know where you're calling in from in the chat. And for those of you who have joined here, if you can turn your cameras on, that would be amazing so that we can see you and connect with one another. Vicky, hello, my dear. Welcome. I think Vicky's also, there's a couple people from Spain on the call today. Vicky's also, yeah, let us know where you're calling in from in the chat. Great opportunity to meet some fellow and sister entrepreneurs. It can be lonely out there, so we need to band together, guys. All right. Victoria, what do you think? Should we give it another minute? I know that we've got some...
Maybe we can... Oh, now 20. See, it's a sign. It's a sign.
It's a sign.
We can slowly start. We will be sending recording as well. It's also for the ones who missed, but we have a very packed program, so I think it makes sense to start. My name is Victoria. I have a background in tech. So for the last 12 years, I've worked for big German corporations like Audi, Henkel, SAP, as a head of product, as a product transformation leader, as a strategy lead. So everything connected to IT management and product management. So basically, I launched multi-million euro programs and products to companies. And recently, my own company to actually help people launch their own products and services. Because what I saw also working for these multi-million euro clients or companies, that a lot of things there are very hard to replicate when you do it by yourself. But people there still really want to launch their own businesses, to do some hands-on things, to start coaching practice, to start consulting practice. But the skills we get in a company, doesn't matter how many years we work there, or it doesn't matter which education we have, are not exactly transferable. And it starts with a mindset, but it's of course also a lot of hard skills. So I went on a journey to see how actually people launch businesses, how to do this actually hands-on. I created a program together with a lot of 10 entrepreneurs who actually launched their businesses 0 to 1. I also did a lot of research and also trials. I launched 5 side businesses for the last 5 years, also coaching. So I'm actually a graduate of Ericsson University myself, to actually decompose what does it take to start a business, so it's not that painful. And this is what I will be talking today about, is actually what are some things you can do to maximize your chances of success. Because let's be honest, it is not very easy. It takes time, it takes effort, and chances of success are not very high. So what can we do now to just make sure that we have high chances to succeed? Before I start, I would be super curious to see at which stage you are. So if you could just drop in a chat, where are you right now? 1 for you already have a stable coaching consulting practice and you make more than 2K monthly profit a month. 2, you know your offer, you're confident that what you offer people need it, but it's still very, very big struggle for you to get clients. And 3, you are starting to think about starting a business, but you don't really have a clear positioning yet, customer base, funnel, and you are not sure how to proceed. And if you want, you can also, of course, share your main challenge currently in a chat so that we can also elaborate a bit more in the end. So while you are putting, and I will definitely look at this to make sure that we cover some of the pains also in the end. My presentation will be around 20 minutes today, and in the end, I ask you to keep the questions in the chat or ask them in the end of the presentation, also after the Michela's part. We will have a discussion. I will go through the chat as well, and you will be also possible to ask questions. Okay, with this, let's start. First of all, just to be sure that we're on the same page, and I just said that it's hard, but are there any data which supports it? So I think you maybe already feel it, but just to see that it's not just you, that this truth that there are a lot of coaching and consulting businesses out there. So just coaching businesses, there are more than 100,000 coaching businesses registered in the US, just in the US, overall, with a growth rate of 5%, but 30% of them close first year. And 49% of them close in the next 5 years. So meaning that actually the chances of success are 1 to 2, right? And this is something we need to accept, and this is something which we need to work with. And the main reason why they close is nothing new here. It's an ability to get clients. And I think the issue is that most of the people think that to get clients, you just need to sell more. But actually, the main reasons why you can't get clients so easily, it's not selling. Selling is just a small fraction of it. It is maybe your positioning is not clear. Maybe it's not relevant to the market. Maybe it's your whole funnel doesn't work. Maybe you are not very much different to what competitors offer. Or maybe you are in an area where there are no competitors and no one can understand what you are doing. Maybe you don't have any consistency in how you position yourself through your different marketing channels. Or maybe you, as most of us, are solopreneur and you feel very isolated and you have a lot of energy. You spend a lot of energy worrying that something is not really working, and that makes you give up too early, or you don't really have benchmarks to compare. How am I doing and how do I actually need to be doing after so much effort, right? And my goal is today to show you at least some shortcuts, what you can do to make sure that you nail this down. So the positioning, the marketing, the niche, and how to go from there. So how to do this? First of all, and I know it sounds maybe for some of you boring, but I think also after working for 12 years in product management and like market research and customer research was my daily job, I still think most of the people don't. So, and now with AI, it's getting even worse because people think I can just ask ChatGPT, please give me research of this customer of this country, and then we just trust what it tells us, right? And this is a problem because everyone has ChatGPT now, and ChatGPT makes everything very average. So we will never stand out if we just rely on AI. So we need to make proper market research. We need to choose a clear target group which we target, meaning that we need to make sure that people we want to target, they really have the problem that we are addressing, and that this problem is really what we call it hair on fire problem. It's really burning for them. It's burning for them so much that they're willing to pay for it and that they're actually looking to solve this problem. And then we need to test it. And they need to test our positioning, we need to test our approach, and we need to test different marketing techniques. All of it we need to do before we spend actually money on marketing. So that's a very important point. We need to first that our offer actually makes sense, and then we can scale it. And that's why I say that if you have a job right now, full-time job, that is good because you can actually start on the side with 5, 4, 6 hours a week to invest in building your side business. If you already left your job, maybe at some point, even at some case, even better because you have even more time and you can test faster. But the idea is that you still need to go through the same steps, not just jump directly to selling or putting your offer out there. So what are other good news I can share with you? First of all, that coaching, I know that most of you here, you are selling or you want to sell coaching or consulting. It's still not the only format you have to use, right? It's not just that you just will sell one-to-one coaching or group coaching sessions or corporate coaching, B2B coaching. There are so many other formats, and maybe some of these formats can be easier for you to sell, or maybe it's easier for you to test with them, because maybe getting a higher ticket B2B client for a group coaching session is harder for you than testing through content, through speaking, to see that the topic resonates, right? So that is the point. When we want to test something, we always ask ourselves, what can I test in 2-3 weeks? If it takes you 5 months of outreach, then it doesn't really work. If it's just going to your really warm network and asking and selling to them directly your offer, you don't sell your offer, you sell yourself because they know you and they just want to buy from you because they trust you, right? It doesn't mean that your offer will scale because someone who bought it from you already knows you. Unless you have a very big network, or unless it's a very high ticket purchase, it might not mean that the positioning or the offer you created actually resonates with the market. And your goal in the beginning is to make sure that you create the offer which actually has a higher chance of succeed, right? Long story short, what are actually the steps to create this offer? And again, this is not just linear, right? It's a loop. You try it, and if it doesn't resonate, you try again, or you test different parts. Maybe the offer resonates, but maybe the packaging, so maybe the format needs to be changed, or maybe the target audience needs to change, or maybe the channel needs to change, right? So there are different things you need to test. First of all, if overall the coaching or the consulting idea you came up with, is it aligned with your personality? Do you love doing it? Can you actually do it very well? Does it give you energy, right? Because you really literally need to love what you're doing, for sure. And I think a lot of people, they forget about it when they think about the business because they only think, what can I sell? And that might be hard. Or some people, actually, I know a lot of those, they think, what would I like to do? This also doesn't work, right? So it's not what I like to do and not what I sell, but it's intersection of both. Then market research. Like we need to analyze current market trends, customer pains, competitors, also overall the market situation, economic situation, and so on. And then we need to launch something, tests, which we try to sell your offer for free, so meaning without marketing spend, but sell offer, meaning to get money for it. And then you can try different marketing channels. So this is usually the idea. So what are the main criteria? So I already mentioned some of them, but just to summarize, what are the main criteria you need to kind of filter your idea first through? First of all, are there enough people who really want this? It means people talk about it. People ask about it. There are a lot of competitors out there. Not too many, but there's still some competitors out there who offer something in this direction. Because none of us, we are not innovators. We are not innovators to the level that we will create completely new problem. Because if the problem doesn't exist, so people don't know about this problem, so they're not looking to solve this problem, and there are no competitors currently out there, you as a solopreneur with your very limited budget, you will not just tell them, oh, actually I created a new problem you didn't know about, but I will solve it for you. Please come to me, right? This doesn't work. Viability, so how much currently people are charging to solve this problem. And there are different ways, tricky ways, how you can actually calculate the potential revenue of your competitors to see how much potentially they're making, to check if it will be okay for you or enough for you, based also on your spend. And feasibility, can I deliver it with my skills, with the time I have, with the resources, with the network I have? So this is also very important. And feasibility for us, so as solopreneurs, it's very, very important part, because sometimes we underestimate what we have in terms of our skills, but also in terms of our network. And it's very important to match what we can do with everything else, because some things can just naturally come easier for us. And it's very important to concentrate on those in the very beginning. And one of those parts is selecting your target audience, right? We need to select the audience which we speak the same language with. Otherwise, it will be very, very hard to connect with them. So how to validate? I don't want to bore you with the details, because there are a lot of details you need to go through when you do the research. I just put here the main bullet points. So first of all, you need to do customer research. And first of all, you need to do it online. Meaning you need to go to the places where your target audience hangs out. Mostly it's anywhere, Reddit, Discord, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Mostly in the end, it's LinkedIn and Reddit. So I would say these are my favorite channels, and Twitter if you are more into tech audience. Then you can check for YouTube comments and so on. And the good thing about AI is that there are actually ways, and this is what we also teach in the class, how you can extract this automatically, right? So you don't need to ask AI to make conclusions for you, but there is a way to aggregate sources so that you don't spend hours or even weeks just extracting the right insights. So this is what you need to do. So scout for market signals. You can use Perplexity on Grok for this, and also you can build some automations that it actually extracts it from the sources you tell them automatically and groups by the idea, by the topic. So this is also really saves you a lot of time and in the end money to find the right insights. And this should be really like juicy insights, right? So for us, what I put here as an example, when we just started, all the insights were very generalistic, very bland. And you need to tweak your prompt or your automation to the level that actually it extracts very specific, juicy insights from your particular ICP, not just something very bland. So technically, this is also a very important point. Then, competitor research. What do I do? You need to check what competitors are currently doing and how you, first of all, cover the basic things they are also doing, because maybe it's very important, but also how you differentiate yourself. You also need to check for the pricing, and you need to also see how what kind of customers they work with and how they're attracted. So it's a lot of information out there. So what to look for is also the traffic and potential revenue they're getting. And there are also different AI tools which you can use to do this. But of course, the best way to get value out of AI tools is to customize them, right? Is to write the right prompts and automations to make sure that you extract the right details. And the last but not least topic is validation through interviews. You need to get people on a call with you to actually hear their voice and get these emotional signals, what resonates, what doesn't resonate. You cannot outsource this just pure to AI, and you cannot interview your friends or family, right? And this is where AI can also help you to transcribe the data, to analyze it, but you need to do outreach yourself, and you need to conduct interviews yourself, which means we are there to orchestrate different AI tools, but AI will never replace us. But we need to start using them because they can actually save us a lot of time to get to the point where we build an offer which actually makes us to stand out and in the end sell better. So let's look again at the process which I shared before, and just conclude what we just discussed, right? So you select an idea which is aligned with your personality, and then you need to do different market research. So I would say if you spend 5-6 hours a week on this, you need to spend 2-3 weeks on proper market research with AI, because otherwise it's not 2-3 weeks, it's 2-3 months, to create a compelling offer which you are ready in the end to put out there and to collect first payments and see actually how it resonates and how easy it is for you to sell. And then if you feel that you can, if you target the people you defined, if you see that they actually pay you for what you offer them, then it's the best test ever that what you build actually resonates. So what happens next? Afterwards, we would create a landing page, and it's still part of a test, right? It's not like we create and we stop there. It always iterates. We create landing page, we create different automations, we do competitor monitoring with AI agents, we create a lot of content and many more. So AI can help you all the way, but what we need to know as solopreneurs is how to orchestrate them and what makes sense as a next step. So as I already mentioned, like what I do is a program for people who want to start side business or who want to actually define their offer and go out there. So who are at this stage before they have 2,000-3,000 euro of profit per month and they're more confident in what they're doing. So here example of some of my clients, our clients. For example, Fernando, he's a senior manager from PVC, and he came with absolutely no idea, but he knew that he really is good in negotiations. And by result of the program, he founded a StageWise, which is a consulting company for B2B, and it helps. It does workshops on negotiation and selling, and also like leadership. And he already organized his first paid workshop during the program. Ekaterina, for example, she's a consultant, she's a change manager, and she wanted to become a coach for ambitious women. During the program, we realized that this is super vague positioning, which doesn't really help you sell. So program, she completely redefined her positioning to a leadership coach and sparring partner in transformation. And she already got her first paying clients by now, and she does it also part-time, so parallel to her job. And Lila, she is a quality assurance team lead, and she wanted to start coaching as well. And what we did, we also completely redefined her offer. And by the way, she's still in the program, so our program runs till mid of April, and she already got 7 paying customers from going out there and from following the steps to define her very clear offer, clear website, and then doing the outreach. So my goal is to create, and I do believe I created this, a very practical program, which is hands-on and which helps people to really go from 0 to 1, from very vague idea to idea which actually sells. And the result of 70% of our clients is that already during the program, they get their customers. And how we do it, it's 10 sessions every week, not just with very successful entrepreneurs who launched their companies by now with corporate background. And then we really go step by step. We do research together with you, we help you to do AI automations and then marketing and see and tweak the offer until it actually resonates and then you get your first clients. So from my side, we are starting our next cohort 22nd of April. And we actually never do this, but for this webinar, we decided to offer a discount code, €200, which you can use. How to do this? You just go to our website and then you can book a call. And then you just can say that you're from this webinar and then you have the code. Or you can just write me in a DM and then we can discuss overall your situation and if the program is even for you. So, and if you're not sure yet, like you're not sure if it is for you and then if it is the right stage at the time, then you can also book a free diagnostic call with me, discuss a bit the market research part. I only can offer 5 spots, but I would be very happy to support you. So just book it here or drop me a message. This was from me. I hope I was more or less on time. And I hand over to Michela. I was really rushing it to make sure that Michela has enough time with her great presentation.
Thank you, Victoria. So this is a lot of information. I encourage you all to connect with Victoria if this resonates with where you're at, even for the diagnostic call. You've got somebody who really knows what she's doing and she has proven success and she works with clients. And if I were you, I'd take the opportunity to pick her brain on that. So we've gone through a lot. Maybe just take a little stretch before we move forward. We're going to transition. So whatever you need to do, a couple of breaths, maybe a little stretch. And I'm going to get my presentation going and then we will move forward with the second part of the presentation. So let's see here. Let's hope the technology is on my side today. And Victoria, maybe you can give me a thumbs up if this is showing up on the screen. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to move some things over and put the chat box over here. Okay, great. So one of the biggest misconceptions, as Victoria mentioned, about building a business is that growth simply comes from working harder or getting more clients, right? And I hope it's now clear to everybody that in reality, business grows through actually distinct stages, right? Each stage asks something different of the founder. And what works in the beginning often becomes exactly what actually starts to limit you later on. So in the next 25 minutes, I want to walk you through what typically happens after you've launched the business and start getting your first clients and what needs to shift as you move toward building a real structured business. Even if you're at that stage, I know some of you are still looking to launch, that sort of thing. There will be a lot of nuggets for you in my presentation. So I encourage you to hang on tight. You want to stay till the end. We are also going to answer some questions at the end. So I encourage you to buckle up for the ride because we're going to go a little quick here. Over the years, working with founders, I've noticed that most businesses move through fairly predictable stages, right? So there's the vision to viable business stage, which Victoria mentioned. And then from viable business, there's another stage, which I actually call a plateau. I call the 6-figure plateau. Because to get to your first 6 figures is probably the hardest part. I'm telling you, it gets easier after you overcome that 6-figure plateau. Once you overcome that six-figure plateau to make your first 100K, then you move into the operator phase, maybe a couple 100,000, then into a strategic leader, 500,000 to 1 million, etc. So today we're going to focus specifically on the transition between that vision to viable business, the viable business to the six-figure plateau. And the shift comes from getting clients to actually building a structured business, because this is the moment where the business stops being an experiment and starts to become a system. All right. So where are you at right now? I know we asked this at the top of the call, but let's refresh. Where are you at right now? Do you feel like you're still proving your idea works? That would be option number one. Or are you now trying to turn your expertise into a structured business that you can actually grow? That would be option number two. If you want to pop in the chat, whether you're a 1 or a 2, that would be great. So this is the exact transition we're going to be talking through. And I want to give you a little bit of background on why this work matters to me as you're putting your numbers in the chat. I want to tell you why I'm so passionate about this, because I didn't learn it from a textbook. I lived it. I grew up in an Italian immigrant family. My father ruled with an iron fist. And by the time I was about 8 years old, I developed a really terrible speech impediment. I stuttered so badly, I went into hiding, had a lot of shame. I didn't think I had a voice. Fast forward, I did manage to build a career in marketing, lead teams. I've won awards for speaking, for coaching. I was invited by Forbes to become a coach. I started my own company with a partner. We scaled super fast, too fast, actually. We made every mistake in the book. Unfortunately, we put our house on the line with a huge mortgage to then fund the company. And then I got some really bad news. My father was diagnosed with cancer. And then my life got even worse because I discovered my partner was an alcoholic. So in a very short period of time, I lost my dad, I lost my marriage, I lost my business partner, who was also my husband, my house, and my company. And I had to start over from scratch. I built a marketing consulting business about 16 years ago. And you know what happened? I hit the exact same ceiling. Not because I didn't know marketing, I'd been doing marketing for years, but because I was building my business like a prototype and not like an engine. And I was fighting who I actually was, my strengths. I was an introvert forcing myself into an extrovert's playbook. And I was hiding behind my computer. I was telling Victoria before our call, I was hiding behind my computer, writing blog posts and wondering why nothing was moving in my business, because I thought that marketing was going to solve my sales problem. I was terrible at the sales conversation, and I didn't know how to network well at all. And it wasn't until I discovered that building a business requires strategic decisions and a mindset shift and an identity shift that everything changed. And in fact, it only really changed when I invested in my first business coach about 2 years into the business with money that I did not have to help me create a business model and to create something out of nothing. If I hadn't made that strategic decision, my business would have folded and I would have gone back to getting a marketing job, in a company. However, I was determined and I was motivated to never get a 9-to-5 job again. So I spent over 100K or more on coaches, mentors, training. And that's when everything changed. And that's why I do this work. Not because I studied it.
Thanks, mataram,
I actually lived every single plateau that I help my clients go through. And I've worked with hundreds of them over the past many years, over 15 years, from startup to beyond 7 figures and into 8 figures. And I know the roadmap and how to get to the other side of it. And that's why I'm very passionate about sharing this with you, because you don't have to wing it. I don't want you to think you have to just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And you don't have to make the mistakes that I made multiple times and lose my house over it. But there's a real reason why smart, hardworking people like you will hit the same walls, because it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how well you're doing in corporate. It doesn't matter about your skills. And when I finally understood that this business engine that I keep talking about these pillars that go from launch to scale and leadership. When I finally discovered all of that, everything clicked. So we're going to come back to that in just a minute. In the early stage of business, when what you're really building is a prototype. Okay, so this is something I want you to wrap your head around and really put on the hat of like, I am building a prototype here, because that's what you're doing. You're experimenting, you're testing ideas. Like Victoria mentioned, she laid out the whole roadmap for you. You're customizing your work to meet client needs. You know, your goal is simple here, right? Prove the idea that works. Prove that the idea actually works. That's your number one goal when you're out there launching the business. And it also requires two important internal shifts, a mindset shift of like going from like, oh, dreaming of launching something to actually deciding, right? Like you stop treating this business like a possibility and a dream, and you go all in and you start treating it like something you're intentionally building. I promise you, if you go in with that kind of determination, things will open up for you in a different kind of way. So deciding to jump in is key. Unless you want a hobby business, that's different. Yeah. The identity shift is going from the employee to the entrepreneur. So instead of thinking like, what tasks do I need to complete? It's really more about how do I deliver value consistently? And that's what helps you to land those first clients. But once you've validated that stage, right, then the work changes. Then it's more about like what got you your first clients was a prototype, but what creates a real business is you developing this engine that I keep talking about, this engine that allows the business to run consistently and grow without depending entirely on the founder pushing harder every month. Most founders stall because the business then starts to feel heavier and more unpredictable than it should, right? From the outside, things might look like they're going well. Maybe you've got a couple of clients, you're doing meaningful work, people are paying you, excellent. But soon enough, what tends to happen is the experience of running a business often feels very different and starts to feel very difficult. So time, let's talk about time. Your calendar starts to become increasingly full, right? You're juggling lots of things, delivery, marketing, sales, admin, everything else that comes with running a business. And despite working harder, it often feels like you're running just to keep up rather than actually moving forward in a way that, you know, is like sustainable. Revenue grows, but it's maybe inconsistent. One month looks strong, the next month feels uncertain, right? Most founders experience what we call in the business the feast or famine cycle, right? I don't know if you've heard of this, but it's like up and down, up and down. Let me know if any of this is resonating in the chat. If you're at these feeling any of these things right now, let me know. It's helpful so I can adjust the content as well. Client work becomes customized and reactive. Clients complete projects maybe, and then they leave. And then you're out chasing new clients. As soon as you get one engagement finishing, then it's like, where's my next client coming from? Oh my God, I got to go do some marketing, right? So there isn't yet a clear customer journey. So the cycle repeats. Finish work, find new clients, deliver work, start again. What does that do? It creates permanent hustle mode. And I don't know about you, I've written a lot of blog posts on this, but I am done with hustle culture. For me, the word is alignment. And that's the word that I know I achieve myself and support my clients to achieve. You do not need to buy into this hustle principle that you got to work harder and you got to be somebody that you're not to build a successful business. Not true. Vicky, I love that. Align and thrive. Yes, sister. You're speaking my language. So eventually, many founders reach a point where they quietly think, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I've created a job for myself and I'm the only one that can do it. Is this really what I want? And let me tell you, just to give you a little insider tip, this doesn't just happen to people who are at the beginning stages of the startup or if they've even reached 6 figures. I have clients I'm working with who are in the 7-figure stage. They're in the bottleneck CEO stage, another plateau, which is super messy. And those people are coming to me. One of my clients said, I wish I could just sell this business and run a tiki hut in Mexico. And she's got a very successful business because she's at the messy plateau stage. So these messy plateaus will happen all the way along. I want to burst the bubble because sometimes we think at the beginning, it's like, oh, if I could just get to this stage, I'll be okay. And that's rarely the case. The prototype proves the idea works, but the engine is what's going to help you enable the business to grow more sustainably. It creates structure and it's your roadmap for scaling. So I want to infuse some inspiration into what we're talking about here, because I want to tell you about one of my clients, because if she can do it, you can do it. And sometimes, like I mentioned, when we're in the hustle, it gets really hard. And so we've talked a lot about the bumps in the road today. So I want to infuse a bit of a success story just to keep you going, because, you know, like I said, if she can do it, you can do it. This is Megan. She's been an A+ corporate employee for 15 years. She wanted to escape the 9 to 5 and start her own business. On our initial discovery call, she told me, Michela, I have such a strong vision. Like, she had visions of like being on Oprah and like doing all these things. But she said, I don't know how to build and scale a business or how to reach my goal. I helped her get out of her mind and put her vision into bite-sized executable pieces. And we took her idea into the formation of a revenue generating business model. And within 1 month after that formation, she booked her first client. And within 3 months, she had already built a 5-figure sales pipeline. And this is what since she said to me, Michela helped me take this crumbled up piece of paper in my head, the fear and anxiety of not knowing, the questioning myself, and build out the strategies and systems that gave me confidence and clarity to make this a 6-figure business in year 2 of existence while bridging out of a successful corporate career. And I feel like the weight of the world has been lifted off my shoulders just knowing that Michela's with me on this business building journey. I've learned in 5 minutes from her what takes people 5 years to learn on their own. So there is hope. I want to plant that seed for you if you're at that stage of being super frustrated. So something to, you know, keep as a lighthouse for you. The shifts that you need. So what actually makes up this business engine that I keep talking about? It's a system with 10 components that work together to create stability and momentum. So what you're doing is you're moving now from that prototype stage to actually creating this engine. Here are the pieces. You need a scalable model. Number 1, a compelling positioning, proven value proposition, consistent lead generation, predictable clients, a clear customer journey, a delivery methodology, repeatable systems and processes, team support, and leadership skills. And when these pieces come together, something really powerful happens. Growth becomes stable and predictable because the business is no longer relying on constant improvisation. And that's the difference between a business that feels like a constant effort and a business that operates like a well-designed engine. Breaking 6 figures is not a motivation problem, and it's not about working harder. It's not a marketing problem. It is, in my opinion and my experience, a business engine problem. Yeah? Let me know if this makes sense in the chat. We're going to dive into all the 10 pillars right now, and we're going to go through each of these in a little bit more detail. Yeah? Sound good? Are you with me? Give me some emojis or something in the chat. Yes, I see a thumbs up from Celine. Excellent. Here we go. The 10 business pillars. 1, a scalable model. So you want to ask yourself, is your business model currently built to support growth? Or are you tapping out? Because a lot of business models that you use for launching, they're not the same model you need for scaling. Okay, you bump up against a ceiling. This is just common. So know that it's normal, right? If your model isn't built to scale, then at this stage, you need to change your model, period. You might need to change your market. You might need to change how you deliver, what you deliver. You might need to reinvent, rechange, recalibrate the business. Don't be afraid of doing that. This is normal, right? I'm not saying you need to like tear it down and build it up again, but there's maybe some significant changes, and that's okay. So that it's not solely founder dependent, right? So that you can help more clients or existing clients at a deeper level without multiplying your workload. You cannot duplicate yourself, and you wouldn't even want to, right? Number 2, compelling positioning. Your positioning answers 4 questions. This will make or break the business. Who is this specifically for? What urgent problem does it solve? For whom? Number 3 is what alternate solutions are offered in the marketplace that don't work as well as you or your solution? And what is your unique approach or methodology? When your positioning is clear and you've answered all these questions and you are spot on with this, the right clients recognize themselves immediately. You stand out in a category of 1, and you are no longer hustling. You are a magnet for clients. And I'm not joking. This is how it should be. If your positioning is clunky and it's not landing, you don't have to settle for that, okay? Number 3, proven value proposition. Clients invest in transformation. They don't invest in services or skills. What do I mean by that? If there's a coach in the room or a consultant in the room, people don't go out there. A buyer doesn't go out there and say, I want to hire a consultant. I want to hire a client, a coach rather. No, they don't do that. They want to solve a problem. People are looking, they have pain points, and you yourself as a consumer know this, that when you have a problem, that's when you go and look for solutions. You are solving problems for people. And so that's what needs to be packaged up and messaged appropriately. Otherwise, your business won't grow, period. It has nothing to do with you personally. It's your marketing and your messaging. Number 4, consistent lead generation. This is how potential clients discover you. So instead of relying on, like Victoria's saying, your warm network, right, or occasional referrals, right? A healthy business develops a repeatable, consistent visibility channel that generates leads. And so I like to call this like an active sales process, right? Because your marketing, if you're relying on passive marketing, it's not going to generate leads, not going to generate enough of them. It's not going to generate them fast enough. We're talking about sales. Many people who come to me, they say that they need more marketing. And when I look at their business, I see that it's not marketing they need sales. And I made the same mistake in my own business. Remember, I was hiding behind my marketing and my computer, and I was not getting the clients. So what do I mean by this? I mean, get on webinars, teach, do live events. Speaking is the number 1 way to get clients, be seen as an expert and authority, and build your business quickly. I didn't see myself as a speaker at all. An introvert with a speech impediment? No. How did I get to where I am today? I learned, right? And so you can learn too. Invest in yourself, invest in the skills. And when you do that, you will give yourself the support that you need to take your business to the next level and to fulfill your mission and your vision with why you're starting this in the first place, right? Because no one starts this stuff just to be struggling and just to create like a poorly paid job for ourselves, right? We don't do that. So it's the vision and the mission, and it's getting behind that and doing what you know you need to do to get support. Yeah. So what does this look like in practice? So I'll tell you about Julie, one of my clients. She'd been scraping by for 7 years, not being able to pay herself enough, difficulty getting people to commit to the services, getting people and clients to, actually show up. And they kept dropping off. They'd come and then they'd drop off. And she told me, I'm on the edge of shutting the doors of my business, Michela. Every summer, we wonder if we're going to make rent. Every year, we stress about being able to pay taxes. We have something really wonderful to offer, but people don't commit in a way that allows us to make enough money to truly be sustainable. Within 90 days, we had recreated her positioning and her value proposition with a better aligned buyer. We rebuilt her marketing messaging and her sales conversion process. We shifted her pricing model. We took her vision and her mission for that big picture of what she really wanted to create in the world, and we elevated her yoga studio coaching business into something that was unique. and something that was really needed in the marketplace. She was amazed at how quickly we moved her business forward in a more sustainable and profitable way with services that not only help them make more money, and now she could pay herself, but also feel good about what they're offering. Yeah. It shouldn't feel like you're trying to, hustle for the business. It shouldn't feel like you're trying to like push your product on people. If that's what it feels like, then, you're not doing it right, which is fine. You just need to shore up those skills. Yeah. Susan, another one of my clients, a marketing consultant with a business that was completely dependent on her. And she told me, I don't feel in control of my business and it's not set up for growth. So within 90 days, we'd identified the structural bottlenecks in the business, narrowed down and prioritized, created concrete actionable steps to build tighter processes. We mapped out all our front end and back end workflows. We found ways to integrate all these new systems into our technology platforms for automation. At the time of when she wrote me a testimonial, she had initially seen a 20% increase in productivity. But over time, because then I've continued to work with her, since fully implementing the plans and the strategies we created, that has now increased to 40% and more. So she's working less, she's making more, she feels more equipped to manage her growth and not like she's shooting in the dark, and not that she's feeling so alone at the helm of her business, right? Because I'm there to support her, to work with her. Making sense so far? Let me know if any of these business engines are standing out for you. I'm going to ask you in a bit which one you think is your biggest thorn in your side here. Let's keep moving on. 5, predictable clients come from clear and effective sales process. So predictable growth comes from a structured way to convert interested people into clients, right? This includes creating a conversation framework, like a diagnostic and assessment, a defined sales conversation process, right? We want to step people through a no to a maybe to a yes, yeah? Sales training is often required at this stage if you lack this skill, right? I did too. I got trained. Without sales training, your business will fail. I once went to a presentation and a very successful, 8-figure business owner was like, sales is the most important skill you need in business. And I was like, don't need sales, marketing. Marketing is what we need. And I should have listened to him, I think. Anyway, number 6, many businesses at this stage operate through one-off engagements, right? So you need a stronger structure for a customer journey so that you don't have to go chasing clients after you finish working with them, right? So for example, a diagnostic, a core engagement, maybe an implementation, maybe advanced support, right? This creates better outcomes for clients because they continue to work with you at a deeper level. There's more stability for the business. It reduces your marketing cost. It increases your revenue without having to go and chase new clients all the time. Yeah. Number 7 is delivery method. You need a structured methodology that consistently produces results instead of reinventing the wheel every single time you work with somebody. There needs to be a clear framework. This is a type of system in and of itself. 8 is the systems and processes. Systems are the operational backbone of the business. This could be onboarding workflows, CRM systems, proposal templates, checklists. I mean, you name it. And AI is very good at creating systems. What AI is not good at, and please don't use AI to create a business plan, a business strategy, a marketing strategy, or a marketing plan, because you will get diverted into a black hole and in the wrong direction. So just a warning on that one. But hey, don't believe me, try it for yourself. Let's go back to Megan. I want to dive deeper into the Megan story because she's an example of what can happen when all the 10 business engine pillars are firing on all cylinders. She came to me with a vision and a podcast and an idea to sell journals. That was no real business. Bit by bit, we constructed her entire engine. We created a movement for her, not just a business model. We repositioned her from a podcast host to a speaker trainer with a compelling message to go back into the corporate world to help high-achieving corporate women detox off the drug of achievement. You see how this gets super niched, very specialized? It's counterintuitive, right? We say, oh, I don't want a niche, but actually, you've probably heard the phrase that, you know, your riches are in the niches, right? You get rich from your niche. It is true. The more specified you are, actually, the easier and your marketing becomes and your sales conversation. So we positioned her as a paid keynote speaker. We developed her signature talk. She started to be seen as an expert. We started to build her email list. We developed a consistent lead generation funnel using direct outreach to corporate community. Her value proposition was super on point based on research, and it was compelling because it was a hot problem that she's solving. And we created a systemized sales process. We got her some team, virtual assistant, marketing support, and I continued to constantly coach her through up-leveling her mindset and her identity as she kept up-leveling how she was showing up, because it's not easy to be continuously putting yourself out there in the world. When the model plateaued again, as it does, we developed a more leveraged version of it by bolting on a membership-based community to her speaking and training business, right? So this is the kind of strategic support and customized attention that's available, right? And so in the end, she said, I feel like I'm doing what I was meant to do for the first time in 37 years. She calls me her Mr. Miyagi, you know, from the movie Karate Kid. So she's like, there's no way this journey would be possible without my Mr. Miyagi. So Francesca is another example, which I won't go into quite yet here in a lot of detail, but we, just in the interest of time, but we basically shifted her model into a more leveraged model, developing out her offerings and better systems so that she could hit her goal of reaching and exceeding six-figure sales. So the last two are team support and leadership skills, like we've already talked about, right? Support beyond the founder. You might need a virtual assistant, operational support. Identify strategic members for leveraging your time and expertise. That's the key, yeah? And with leadership skills, we're moving from operator to strategic leader. That's the mindset shift, yeah? Instead of doing everything yourself, you become, you know, instead of being the doer, right? You go into being the leader, yeah? This is where getting a coach can help with this level of personal development. Yeah. So which part of the engine needs strengthening first? Let me know in the chat. Do you know? You don't need to build the entire engine overnight. Yeah. But you do need to make sure that you have the core pillars of the engine and that they are existing together and they're firing on all cylinders, right? So this is the key question that you need to know. Because if not, as you can see, it's overwhelming. There's too many areas to look at, and it's difficult to know which to start first, second, and third, which is going to have the biggest impact, which is going to move the needle, you know? So if you can't answer this question, if you cannot answer this question easily, I'm offering you an opportunity to jump on this six-figure plateau diagnostic tool that I have created. It's free. Go to sixfigureplateau.com or scan the QR code. If you're getting clients, if you're working hard, if you're feeling capped, then this simple, quick, and free diagnostic tool is going to be a game changer for you. Trust me. This will help you through a series of questions, help you understand exactly where your model is leaking momentum and exactly what to do to shift it next. It's an incredible tool. It's free. All you got to do is drop your email address and you'll get the tool. It's very actionable and you can run with the insight that I share in it and start implementing right away. If you're a fast action person, you're like, oh, I got this, Michela, tell me what to do and I'm good. This is what you need. So download and take the diagnostic. I promise you it will be very enlightening. Now, for those of you who want to stop winging it, right, and start to strategically lead your business to shift from that survival to scalable to sustainable growth, I have a different kind of invitation for you to get my eyes on your business. And like my client Megan says, she learned from me in 5 minutes what would take her 5 years to learn on her own. So this is a different offer for you. A business rarely stalls because the founder isn't capable. The reality is that you don't need more tactics. You can get those off of ChatGPT. A business stalls because the next stage requires clarity. And you cannot get that from any kind of AI or somebody's template or a course or a group program or any of that stuff. Trust me. I believe that your greatest potential leads to your greatest purpose. And I form the path for my clients to reach their greatest potential so that the path to your potential becomes purposeful. What would it be like for you to have a clear path so you can see step by step how to get from where you are to where you want to go with more ease? That's what we're talking about here. So often what looks like many different problems in the business is actually just one or two structural bottlenecks. So if you're motivated to take a strategic leap in your business this year, this is your invitation. I have 3 spots open for the rest of March. It's by application. So I don't know if you're a good fit, but we can find out. And so to find out, you can send me a private DM in this chat and with your email address, I will send you an email and I will have some questions in there. Olga, what is a good fit? I'll have some questions in that email and you can answer them. And then we'll see, if it makes sense. It'll become clear. Yeah. If you are watching the replay, you can email me, hello@michelaquilici.com. The email address is on this slide. Yeah. And then we can jump on a strategy session and we can determine, where's the leaky bucket in your business and how can we plug the leaky bucket? Yeah. So that is what we've got for you today. A lot of information. I hope it's been helpful. Victoria and I are super keen and willing and able to stay on for some extra minutes here to answer any Q&A. Yeah. We'd also love to hear any feedback, like what resonated. Would love to hear. So I'm going to stop sharing right now. And I know it's the top of the hour and some of you might have to drop off. But yeah, let us know. What questions do you have? What landed for you? Tell us in the chat.
I do hope that what landed at least was that it's all about positioning and not just marketing, but sales as well, right? So just positioning, making sure that you deliver what actually people need, and then learning how to sell it, not just marketing behind the computer, right?
Yes, exactly. Don't make the same mistakes that we made. They're expensive and they're painful. Now, not to say you're not going to, experiment, right, in your business. And there will be things that don't go well, not to say that you're not going to make quote unquote mistakes. I don't really believe in mistakes per se, although we could definitely prevent you from making some really, really painful missteps for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just nice to not be alone, right? And to have a benchmark of how others did it and how others are doing that. Well, that could help. But are there any questions, guys?
Zoran, very good insights. The strategic direction from prototype to organized engine was compelling. Great.
You did make it sound very easy, Michaela. It sounded like, okay, I really know what to do, like very structured.
Yeah,
So
so thank you. Yeah, I make it sound easy because I've been honing this. So I've been in business 25 years, guys, and I've been doing this as a business for almost 16. I make it sound easy because I've figured it out to the point where I can put it together in such a way to make it sound easy. But trust me, there have been a lot of a lot of touch and go and a lot of missteps along the way. But in essence, let's see, it's not easy, but let's say that it is simple, right? In the sense that there's a roadmap, guys. Like you don't need to wing it, right? And so it just depends on, whether you want to, like how much time you want to spend kind of poking around in the dark on your own. Yeah. Before you kind of decide, you know what, I'm ready. Like I've got a vision. I've got a mission. I'm lit up about this. you know? And if you're not there yet, then maybe that's where you need to start too, right? I find, Victoria, don't you find like you've got to be clear on your why and your vision and your mission and what you want to create in the world? Because if that doesn't light you up, you're just going to hobble along. You really are, because you won't be motivated enough to actually like invest in yourself and take a chance on yourself, commit to yourself, commit to your vision, commit to, not being stuck in a position, working a job or working in another business that you hate. This is your opportunity to create something, and it is exciting. And I always like to say, stop tolerating what you've got and start creating. Like, you can totally do it. It's not rocket science, yeah.
100%. But it is not easy, right? So let's, it definitely, motivation helps. What we also said, that it should be aligned with who you are, what you want from life, and it should come easy, naturally to you. So the business should not be really against everything you are and everything you stand for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the only thing what we can do is see how we can make it easier for us, like get support, read, try, give yourself time to just give you this chance of succeeding, while we know that every second one doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And also know when to call it, right? So in my business, when I launched, it was about 2 years and I was hobbling along, and I was getting really, I was losing confidence in myself. I was losing confidence in even the vision of was it even possible for me to do this? And so a couple of key things that really helped me. Number one, get support. Number two, so what does that mean? Coach, mentor, training, etc. Number two, community. You've got to be surrounded by people who get it and who get you and who are going through similar things. Because with that community, that'll help you keep going. Just make sure that you're also looking for people who are a couple steps ahead of you, because you want to be able to build your business on the backs of giants, right? You don't want to be hanging around with people who are like, I was hanging around at one point with people who are just as broke as me. Well, that wasn't going to be helpful, right? Like, I needed to push myself, right, to find those people that I could really learn from. So those are just a couple tips that definitely helped at the earlier stage and even throughout. So Natalie says the roadmap is helpful. I'm just at the beginning and provided clear direction of the steps and what matters. Yeah. Yeah. So the steps are there. You've got the 10. Just keep in mind that the order in which you do the steps is crucial, right? So if you're unclear about the order of operations of things, then that's when you want to reach out and get some strategic advice and support on that, because you don't want to be working on the thing that is not going to move the needle. You could be working for months on years on things that are not the right things. So make sure that you've got the big picture, but take the diagnostic as a step one, as an example, the 6-figure diagnostic that I shared. Go to sixfigureplateau.com, and that will at least give you, will clear a path forward in terms of what the right next step is. And of course, Victoria and I have both offered some other opportunities to step into more elevated support. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So very much depends on where you are now. So if you are confident that you are selling the right thing, that's one thing. But if you're not confident, then if you have 10% of doubts, maybe you need to think how to change it. This is an important point.
Okay.
Yes.
That's it for today. So you will be getting an email with the recording and an email with the opportunities to plug into the different levels of support that Victoria and I have shared today. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was amazing to be with all of you and for staying until the end. And we wish you an amazing rest of your day, and see you again soon.
Yes. And good luck with your business.
Thank you, ladies. Bye bye.
Thank you.